ugogo their funeral policy, they will offer mama there. You find that even some of our civil servants, our teachers, our police officers, and so on, you look and you want to give them some products. For instance, a will. You want to give them an endowment policy because this person has got kids. Should they pass away, should they be disabled, they won't have that ability to earn an income. What is it that they are going to leave behind, for these kids? Do you have a will? Many of our people don't even have wills for insurance. And of course, like you've said, we've had many people who take policies against, their relatives. We've seen, and fraud has been there. It's there. Fraud is everywhere. And we should find ways to be able to do away with this kind of behavior. But because the insurance industry is very much broad. It's not only limited to that. There's even niche markets where we talk about aviation, we talk about marine insurance, aerodrome liability, group schemes, and so on and so forth, security liability. So there's quite a lot that you can do. Anything that you see, you can actually insure, transfer that risk. If it's going to result in a financial loss, you can transfer that risk to an insurer. So that's where your broker would actually.
Forum for the marginalized.
The risks and challenges that are actually faced by insurance brokers. There's a lot of misconception, a lot of misunderstanding with regards to that particular industry and what brokers really do. From an individual perspective, from a business perspective, in terms of being able to actually assist you as an individual and businesses with regards to mitigation of certain risks from an insurance perspective. And therefore, it is good that we're actually having this particular episode today because we are joined by the broker, principal, and director of Lebone Risk Solutions. Mbongeni Ngobeni. He is one of those individuals that have got a passion with regards to being able to make sure that your assets are protected and that you also as an individual, you are protected. But how? Because if you look at the unemployment in this country and if you look at the less disposable income that we do have, the lesser we think of things is what we think of when it comes to insurance.
Yes, no, that's very true.
So before we even enter into that particular discussion at hand today, we welcome you more than anything else. We welcome you as a subscriber. We welcome you for you to be able to be part of this community because I think there's a lot more that we are going to be sharing in terms of us being able to have information and be educated and most of all, make decisions that are going to be able to have a positive impact in your life and going forward. Mbongeni is exactly that, to actually unpack this world of brokers and what it really means. Some people are saying that brokers are scammers. Some people say this thing that brokers are scammers. I think that's my introduction. Welcome to the Forum for the Marginalized. We welcome you. It's been some time. We have said we're going to have a discussion, and this is a discussion. You can't like it wrong. I'm saying good broker, good brokers, yeah.
No, first of all, let me just say thank you very much for inviting us. I think this is a very much important platform to send a message out there. And I've seen some of your other episodes. I think you're doing quite well. So this is more than just, it's not even entertainment, but very much informative. And it plays a very much crucial role in today's society because each one of us has got a phone. We're able to even watch on the go. Sometimes when I'm traveling, I can even watch your podcasts on my phone. And I would really love us to be contributing to this particular podcast. I think it plays a very important role. But back to the subject that you were speaking about. I think there is a misunderstanding
Sure.
and misconception
Sure, that's where we need to start actually.
as to really what is the role of an insurance broker, particularly at a time where there's a lot of information. Information is readily available. Online. You can purchase a product online, whatever product, insurance product that you need online. But I always tell my colleagues and many other people to say, our role is not to sell insurance. That is not our role. We don't sell insurance products. Our role is to ensure that whoever we are dealing with, or our clients, they get the desired financial outcomes. Maybe let me unpack that.
Please.
So you find many a times, I'll make an example with business owners, even individuals in some cases. We then go in there and say, look, what are your desired financial outcomes? Number one, they would say, look, I'm exposed to a risk. I'm running a business, I'm exposed to a risk. These are the risks that are faced by the business and which could potentially lead to me or the business collapsing, but also goes with individuals. Then we start dissecting the risk. We look at the business on its own. What are the risks faced by the business? What are the risks faced by the business owner? Now, but another thing we've got to look to say, okay, since you are faced with this risk, in terms of risks of your assets being stolen, being lost, whatever the case might be, what is the exposure there in financial terms? We look at you as the individual. Should you be disabled today, are you in a position to be able to be earning that same income? Are you able to maintain the very same lifestyle? In terms of your health, what would happen should you have a dread disease? So we look at all those risks that we are faced to, and then we take those risks based on the individual type of circumstances, because no two people are the same. And also there's this misconception that insurance is for people with money. No, it's just that there's no education, particularly in our communities, relating to insurance. Then you take that, you say, these are the risk exposures faced by this specific individual, faced by this specific business. Then you look at that, you say, okay, based on that, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to tailor, and also you need to take budget into consideration. There's many products out there. You can go and buy a product out there. Then we take that and we look at the various insurance product, what is out there in the market. And based on that, we match it to your needs or desired financial outcomes or risk mitigation, strategy that is for, your big businesses, your corporates. But even for the individual, I always ask many a times to say, you find people, especially as I'll go back to our communities now, people who turn funeral policies. You ask, what is the reason for this? It doesn't make sense. It's because I think we are also to blame, because we have now gone to a phase. I see many guys who come into the industry. They're simply pushing products, which should not be the case. You should give sound financial advice based on the circumstances of that particular individual or that specific business. So I think that is one of the challenges that we have, that also our colleagues in the industry contribute to that misconceptions. In our communities, many of us started having insurance when it's not so long ago that since many will tell you I've started only having insurance post 1994. People are not really educated about the insurance industry, but it plays such a critical role in one's life and then in the life of a business. Yes.
So I wanted to actually go back with the issue that you just alluded to now, with the fact that, you know, most of our communities were actually gravitating towards having only funeral plans. And you know the exposure that exists with regards to that. In fact, I had a podcast some time ago with regards to the fraud that is actually taking place with regards to people taking funeral policies against their mothers and fathers and stuff like that. And you know, with an interest of them being able to actually get some monies out of it and whatever it is. But what I wanted to actually ask is that from your perspective as a professional, why is it that most of us as a community, we are gravitating only towards funeral plans and nothing else?
Look, that is what is being pushed, particularly in our communities, funeral plans. And also, I always say, I was having a discussion with colleagues the other day, another challenge that we have, as I said, it's the lack of education, particularly in our I'll say this, in our low income, communities. The other challenge that we have is that we as brokers are also failing to collaborate as brokers. Because, for instance, I'll make you an example. You want specific information from a fellow colleague or a broker and say, look, I need this and that. And many a times you'll find the response would be, no, I don't have such. So we are operating as in silos. There is no association, as an example, that, where especially black brokers, because that is our market in the townships, could go there and say, look, let's come together, let's have campaigns to educate our people. What is the purpose of a funeral insurance policy? Like I said, many of us have got 10, 15, 20. Because the big insurers, when they go there, all they do is just, you'll see them at the malls. They will offer Gogo their funeral policy. They will offer Mama there. You find that even some of our civil servants, our teachers, our police officers, and so on, you look and you want to give them some products. For instance, a will. You want to give them an endowment policy. Because this person has got kids, should they pass away, should they be disabled, they won't have that ability to earn an income. What is it that they are going to leave behind, for these kids? Do you have a will? Many of our people don't even have wills, for that matter. I think I ascribe that to the lack of education and information. And by education, I don't mean formal school education. Education in as far as using insurance to be able to mitigate and transfer a specific risk which would result in a financial loss, and using that product, of course, at a premium that you will be paying, looking at a specific budget. So that is what we should first start, going there and educating our people to say, what is this? What is the need for insurance? And of course, like you've said, we've had many people who take policies against, their relatives. We've seen, and fraud has been there. It's there. Fraud is everywhere. And we should find ways to be able to do away with this kind of behavior. But there were certain articles, I'm sure you have seen, even certain police officers who've murdered a number of people for this. So it's like a get-rich-quick scheme for some people, which should not be the case. Because the insurance industry is very much broad. It's not only limited to that. There's even niche markets where we talk about aviation, we talk about marine insurance, aerodrome liability, group schemes, and so on and so forth, security liability. So there's quite a lot that you can do. Anything that you see, you can actually insure, transfer that risk. If it's going to result in a financial loss, you can transfer that risk to an insurer. So that's where your broker would actually come in to render that sound financial advice to that business owner or to that specific individuals, so that they are able to get the desired outcomes based on that financial advice. And many a times I think many of us do not go that route of wanting to give the sound financial advice, because it's a process. You need to do a needs analysis for this person, or risk analysis for this specific business, for this specific person, and say, look, based on my analysis, this is what I've assessed, this is what I recommend, and then you take it from there. I hope I've summed it up.
You have. So my question would be that in these trying times, it is very difficult for you to be able to, people are not able to actually even get by with their salaries, or individuals are not able to actually meet up their financial obligations in full, simply because of these trying economic times that we find ourselves in. And one of the things that people let go of before anything else is their insurance covers, right? And and when they get rid of their insurance covers, then they become exposed. And when they do become exposed, when an eventuality happens, then there is really nothing that actually is there to actually intervene in an event that something, an incident does happen. So why do you think that people would forego, firstly, when they're going through financial struggles, that they would let go of their insurance covers and stuff, and then the other things would actually do matter, other than exactly that particular aspect? Don't you think that insurance has become a grudge purchase for some individuals?
You are quite correct, because that is the first thing that someone would let go of. For instance, you would have seen during the period of COVID, many people have lost their loved ones. Many people were struggling also financially, and we've still got a lot of many people faced with financial constraints as it is now, but I think that's where the role of advice would then come in. For instance, I'll make an example. There is a particular client, it's a business client in this case, who said, look, we are facing a challenge, but we are thinking of how best can we reduce our insurance premiums under the current situation or economic climate that we're facing. And we said, look, we would need to sit and have a discussion and have a look to say, what is it that you currently have and how best we can be able to assist you. This is a business that had quite a number of vehicles, about 15 vehicles or so. Just to give context, we went there and we said, look, which vehicles are financed? Which are some of the older vehicles that you've got? And it was during COVID, and we said, look, guys, what we need to do, maybe restructure this whole thing to be able to save you funds. You may not necessarily, for instance, your vehicles that are fully paid up. This is what we did. We said, look, we understood that the situation was quite bad at the time. And we said, look, let's take some of your vehicles, let's put them on third-party only insurance, meaning that these vehicles are fully paid, they're not being driven a lot. Remember, it's COVID this time, but they still had to continue operating. But we're saying, in the event that one of your drivers causes damage to someone else, so that you are not exposed, you can take the cost of fixing your vehicle, but because if you cause damage to someone's property, whether it be vehicle, whatever property it is, they would then come after you. Then there's litigation, but this would then cover you for that. In some of their vehicles, we said, look, perhaps let's take a portion that you self-insure in the form of increasing your current payable excesses. So we adjusted that accordingly. There's also certain covers that you cannot afford, not to have. For instance, I've got 2 young daughters. I cannot afford not to have some sort of life cover as it is currently. Reason being, my kids are dependent on me. Even if I cannot be able to, pay, as a broker, I've got a huge life cover, but if anything were to happen, I would rather reduce that amount of cover than having zero. Like I said, some of our people, there's a product mismatch. They've been sold products that are not necessarily suited for their purpose. As an example, which I alluded to, you have someone who's got 5 funeral covers. Why is that? Why do you need 5 funeral covers? One should be sufficient, but we just increase the amount. So I think we need to go out there and educate our people, and correctly so. You're saying it's a grudge purchase, but in the event that something should happen, becomes very much costly not to have any form of insurance in place.
You spoke about the fact that there's an issue with regards to brokers working in silos, and that there is no unity. I thought that it was happening in other industries. I thought that was happening in other industries. I'm actually noting now that even in the financial services sector, that's exactly what is actually happening, that there is no unity with regards to brokers or intermediaries, if we can be able to actually put it like that. But why is it that there is no unity or commonality in terms of you being able to render, because that service? Because my thinking off the cuff is the fact that insurance is a daily part, should be a daily part of our lives, right? And you'll never know what happens in this world. Things happens, eventualities happens, stuff happens at Mbongeni. And when you don't have, then that means you are going to be without.
Correct.
When something does happen. But why is it that there is no somebody that would actually come up and say, hey, let's unite, let's look at this, face ourselves against big companies, if I can really put it like that?
I think that is one of the biggest obstacles that we have, especially for new entrants in the market. The barriers to entry, number one. Before, at application stage, already you must have appointed certain professionals. At application stage, you must already demonstrate operational ability. You must already have a compliance officer. That compliance officer is not going to do it for free.
Comes at a cost.
It comes at a cost. There's also other legislative requirements which you need to comply with. And many times you find people running around not knowing what steps to take. But if we had come together, we had an association of some sort, we would have like a desk to say those who want to be part of the industry would then be able to share that information, number one. And number two, also remember, our industry is yes, there might be, and I don't really understand why there's this thing of people not wanting to assist or be united. Our industry, there's still a lot of lack of transformation in our industry. We are getting the breadcrumbs, if I can put it that way. I'll make you an example. You go, let me just go in the public sector space as an example, because we are all aiming to participate. Some of us are aiming to participate in that space. But what you find is that instead of us maybe forming joint ventures or consortium and so on, many of the guys would say, no, I want to go for this account alone because I feel that I cannot share this account. I think it's a mindset we've been conditioned, to think that way. Mind you, at that time you are competing with some of the biggest brokers. The likes, I'm not sure if I can mention them here. The likes of
they're existing anyways. They're existing anyways.
So Lebone Risk Solutions is supposed to compete with an Aon. Aon have got international exposure. we are supposed to compete with the Marsh, which is actually a US company. They've got international presence as well. But what also becomes worrying, and which I really cry about. In some of these requirements, you would find that the public sector entities, your municipalities and so on, they would punt this BE, they would punt, I'm not saying give me business on the basis only because of my BE. No.
Skin color. Yes.
No, based on my skin color.
Yes,
No, but
yes.
give me, understand where we come from. Understand, let's level the playing field. But I'm saying, I've got the skill. I've got, the expertise to be rendered this service. But don't now come and put another barrier in me participating in this space. Case in point, you would find some small municipality, they will tell you, no, the requirements for you to bid, you must, look, it's a legislative requirement for us to have professional indemnity insurance because we render advice.
Yes.
But what we are saying, you will find some of these requirements, they will tell you need 250 million professional indemnity, which you must have. Well, it's a cost, number one, to buy that level of professional indemnity. I've already got professional indemnity of 10, 20, 30 million as an example. But now you've put this requirement that I must have 250 million professional indemnity, which must be enforced, by the way. I must show you proof. So now you are saying, as I'm bidding, I must purchase this professional indemnity of 250 million. Now I ask myself, who exactly is compiling some of these requirements, because already for a company like Lebone, you put such requirements already, we're already out, because to purchase that professional indemnity of 200 million and 250 million, that's our total annual revenue as an example for the premium to be able to pay for that. So there's a lot. You find some of these supply chain office, they don't themselves understand what they are requesting from us. But had we united and had some sort of, maybe an association of some sort, or a grouping of black brokers, we would be able to take our matter forward and be able to engage in relation to some of these issues, and also be able to empower our communities, bursaries, sitters, and so on and so forth. So those are some of the challenges we have.
You're talking about issues, you're talking about barriers. Now we're talking about barriers with regards to being able to have access to opportunities. Basically, that's what you're actually alluding to. And you're saying those barriers would require for you to be able to be heavily resourced.
Correct. For
you to be able to actually being able to be given an opportunity. But the likelihood of you being able to even get the job is sometimes zero. Right?
Correct.
And you've invested so much money in terms of you being able to be sustainable and survive. And you are saying that in terms of whatever that they are looking for, it might be a total revenue that you actually make within a year. So where's the future with regards to black brokers going somewhere? Because at some point you need to be able to get to a stage where you actually now start being competitive and having a certain competitive advantage as a broker in terms of you being able to ensure that you position yourself appropriately in terms of you in the greater scheme of things and being able to actually compete. But how do you really compete when you're always at the receiving end or the back end of things?
The most critical thing that we do, for instance, I'll speak now from what is currently happening. Our aim, number one, is we've got high employment levels in the country. And also our aim is to create, by me having those number of people, by the way, most of our staff, I would say 90% it's women at Lebone, because we understand the challenges. Many of these, it's young women that we've employed there. Some of them we've gotten them as interns and so on, with the view that as we grow, we take them. on
Reasons
on
that
the
you want-
on a permanent basis.
reasons of
but-
employing women. I don't even want to move away from that.
No.
That statement. I just wanted to actually
it's-
understand why is it that you would have an intent of being able to actually get women in this space? Because I really think that you are correct. Women are far in between in terms of the insurance space. They're there, but they're not there.
Look, it's always been a male-dominated industry. It's always been the male-dominated industry. In fact, not just insurance, the financial services sector as a whole. It's a multi-billion rand industry. If you look at the top JSE companies currently, it's financial services sector, because you've got access to these funds that you collect. You invest elsewhere and build that wealth using those funds. But
The money that is not yours. That
yes, coming back,
you are using. Can you hear Robert? He's using money that. They're using money that is not theirs actually. But anyway, it's nothing here, another there.
we play the intermediary role. Yes, we would love to one day, be actually having a black-owned insurance company that understands the challenges that are out there. But coming back to your question as to why specifically women, as I said, it's a male-dominated industry, and I've worked in a number of insurance, companies. I was a public sector portfolio manager for public sector in one of the big corporates at some point, and I decided, let me just go there. And you'd find that many women who especially start brokerages, many of them, you'd find that after a year or two, not even a year, some of them don't even last. After some time, then they would close and say, look, I'm going back to corporate.
Why?
I know a few people, because I think in this industry, you need a lot of resilience, because it's tough. Number one, the market, some will tell you, we are all competing for the same pie, but I always tell people that there's the business that is out there, it's enough for all of us. There is no need for us not to empower each other, and that's been one of the challenges. But you find that most of the brokerages or agents that are being started by women, many of them would fail, particularly black women. I know a couple of them whom I used to work with previously. And I took a conscious decision and said, look, we've got to just empower women in our industry. As you know, it's a male-dominated industry. Let's do that. Maybe it's because I've got daughters only that has made me do that. But it's important to be able to do that. It's important to be able to empower each other. We are also not united, Mamsindi. I can tell you that much. Hence, we complain in our own corners. Nothing will change up until such time that we come together and work together as a unit, where we're able to voice our concerns and challenges as a group, as opposed to individuals. Then it would make the weight much lighter.
I'm going to go back to the issue that you just mentioned with regards to resilience. And I from a woman perspective, sorry that Mbongeni, because I'm just one of those women. Don't worry, I'm not a feminist, but I really advocate for women a lot. I think one of the most resilient individuals that you could ever find is women. Simply because women go through a lot. So are you saying that in the weight that women actually carry, the weight that comes with the responsibility of being an insurance broker sometimes become too much for women?
It does. It does. The weight, remember, as you are starting becoming a broker, you are everything in the business, particularly for many of us. I mean, when we started Lebone, I was working from home. So number one, you've got to ensure that your compliance is there. You are a compliance person, you are an admin person, you are a marketing person, you do all these things. And worst part, women, we've got this situation where many women also, you've got to look after kids. I mean, the quite a number of the ladies in my team, and I'll say it, they're single mothers. They are single mothers. You know, they are single mothers, and you still expect them to raise these kids on their own. Generally, there's been that, you know, and in some industries, you go there as a woman, and which is something we must change. You know, you go there as a woman, you are not taken serious. To say no, but no,
I cannot be advised by a woman.
Yeah, no, I cannot be advised, and which is wrong. And in some cases, you know, you go there as a woman, it's not only the financial advice that this is interested in. Now you start getting WhatsApps, you know, late night WhatsApps, late night calls. So it's not just purely on the financial advice. There's other, you know, things that are being expected, you know, which is a problem. And we must do away with that, you know, as society. You know, it's something that we need to do away with. And see this, I mean, I was speaking to one lady on, we're on one program, it was on Friday, funny enough. And she said to me, you know, when I go to meet clients, there's a certain way I don't dress, you know. And I said, hey, why? What do you mean? She says, no, I may be comfortable in wearing that, yes, because you've got to look professional, you know. But she told me to say, no, I always wear these long dresses. I try and wear this clothing, no matter how hot it is, that does not reveal, you know, anything. And I said, why? Well, says, no, her experience is that, you know, many a times she goes and engages, especially in male-dominated industries, because look, insurance applies anyway. It's like law in whether it's construction. Even some of our clients are attorneys themselves, doctors themselves are our clients, because they need that PI. They need us to cover some of the risks, even some of their you know, life covers, personal effects that we need to cover for them. So everyone, insurance applies everywhere. And we're talking about, at the time she was saying, hey, you know, I don't do construction. And I said, why? She says, no, you know, the fact that it's a male-dominated industry, but there are some places where I don't really go, and where I need to dress, I wear this long dress, because she said experiences where, you know, it's not just about the financial advice anymore, it's beyond that, which is a problem, which is a serious problem. So we've got to do that. Had we had some sort of association or grouping, and I want to advocate for that we establish a grouping, you know, purely for black brokers, that will go out there, engage our people, educate them. You don't always have to derive income from that. Just go there, let's have a drive, educate our people about some of these things. You know, that's why they are being taken advantage of, because they don't understand exactly what they are purchasing. And they don't, now, if they don't get those outcomes which they were expecting, now it's a scam, you know.
Statistics, I'm not sure, maybe you'll have them offhand, or perhaps maybe can you be able to sort of give me an indication how many black brokers fail in the first year or 5 years of operations?
Look, I may not necessarily have the stats now.
Percentage-wise, if you can estimate?
as you know, many startup businesses themselves, they fail within the first year, But I think there's even that greater layer
when it comes to us.
when it comes to the financial services sector, particularly for us as brokers, because you now have to even pay for when you're working for corporate, you don't have to pay it, you have to pay for the electricity, even the coffee and the sugar that is there, even the cleaning material that is there. You've got to take care of each and every aspect of the business. But a majority of them, because would fail, there's people who, let me put it this way, it's not a get rich quick scheme like any other business. You've got to put in the work. But what we're saying is that let us, for those who want to really be in this business, let the barriers be removed. Let some of these fees, for instance, like I said, at application stage, you've got to pay a lot of money just for application and have these people. So hence, people become despondent at the end and say, hey, look. So in terms of, I would estimate 50 to 60% would fail.
That's an alarming number, isn't it? It's a very concerning number.
It is, very much so. Very much so.
So let's talk to other barriers that are actually there with regards to brokers. You spoke about the issue of indemnity, with the fact that there is like millions of rents that you've got to cough up as a business for you to be able to actually bid for bigger businesses. We're still going to be going for one of those companies that are in the JSEs listed and stuff like that, because you find that some of their CEOs are black. Right?
Correct.
But the shareholders are some, you get what I'm saying. So I wanted to actually go back to that part, that you spoke about issues of being able to, have a lot of money for you to be able to be a reputable broker and be able to do business with government, if I can put it like that.
Correct.
Because then there's a greater demand.
Yes.
Of course, it's understandable as well because of the assets that government has. That you've got to have that indemnity. So somehow you can be able to sort of understand, but you are right, it is a barrier. What other barriers are there that actually exist in the insurance industry, especially for brokers, that enables them not to actually access opportunities?
I think the number two is the playing field, like I mentioned an example, if I've got to compete with an Aon, they've got all the resources. They can attract the required talent that is there. Should I want someone who's highly experienced in the industry, I can't even afford them. I can't even afford them. But also, you've touched on a point of some of these companies having black executives there.
Sure.
Wanting with the view to drive transformation in the industry, which is still not transformed. And also there's this, so now what currently happens is that they are saying insurers must attract black brokers. So as they attract black brokers, they will then be incentivized for every a portion of the commission that they pay to black brokers. But many a times,
who's incentivized? Let me understand.
So they would incentivize the insurance companies.
Okay.
To say for every rand that you pay to black brokers as a commission, there's some B points and so on and so forth. You also get invited to these programs to say we want to empower, you as black brokers. Some of them will decline them, and you ask, they'll say, but why? You say, no. This thing what you are doing is a tick box exercise. You are saying, you are bringing me to a classroom. You say, I've attended so many of these courses. I don't know how many certificates I've got there. Some of them I don't even know. They are lost. And it's just a tick box exercise to say, no, for us to be able to get these B points and be seen to be complying and seen to be doing something, let's have this program, so-called program, for that will cater for black brokers, only to find that the intention is not really to empower you. It's just a tick box exercise to comply, with BE. So it's BE points. That's it. It ends there. So that's what we find. That's what we find many a times. So having these black executives in some of these insurers, it does nothing.
So it's a tick box exercise
again. It's a tick box exercise. I mean, you go to, and you touched on the fact to say, yes, you would understand why, because of the assets that they have. But what we normally say is that, guys, can I give you a letter of intent from a reputable insurer or reinsurer that says, should I be awarded this contract? Therefore, they would be able to give me this professional, and does not only end with professional indemnity. If you look some of the requirements, I mean, I looked at one, they said, no, the account manager must have a master's in insurance for me. And I said, what? Master's in insurance? What is this?
What is it? I'm trying to understand, what is master's in insurance?
What is happening?
So what qualification is that?
I could not understand, because maybe if they said postgraduate in risk management.
I get you, yes.
Because now, for instance, the likes of vets, you've got risk and insurance, but they said masters in insurance. So you see some of these things, there is even requirements which are not related to our industry. So if you want to now make sure that you close out a certain or limit the number of who will respond, you put requirements there which will frustrate people, which are not necessarily related to the industry, So there will be those requirements to say, you look at this document, you say, but what is the purpose of this requirement? Many a times we send them emails to say, please, could you kindly clarify, what is the purpose of this requirement in our space?
Naya guys, the specs have been written for them.
They've been written for them.
Let's go to that point. Let's really go to the collusion in the industry, collusion in the insurance industry. How big is that?
No, it's very big. It's very big. We're not going to hide. There are players who've been dominating this space, and as you try to catch up now to say, okay, hey guys, we did not have this requirement, maybe the following year you start now gearing up with the team, they'll say no, they'll see, then they will have additional requirements. But there is collusion in this space. We know even some of these insurers are part of it, because you cannot, in a situation where you and I, Cindy, are brokers, and you and I are looking at we're competing for the same portfolio, same size portfolio, same client, whether it be a municipality, an SOE, whatever, but you give me different terms to what you have. Are we not looking at the same risk?
We are.
So there's quite a lot of collusion that is not spoken about, that is happening in our industry.
Let's talk about bribery.
You see, now you want to get me in trouble now.
We are almost getting there to the finality. Let's.
You want to get me in trouble now?
I'm not. I'm saying, look. There's like I was just talking now with Ndombi on our segment,
yes.
With regards to issue of bribery and corruption,
yes.
and it happens in all industries. I wanted to understand that in the insurance industry, how rampant is that?
I think that because I play in the public sector space, in as far as insurance is concerned, we've even taken a stance to say there are some areas where we do not go because we know there are certain players who are dominant there in certain, state-owned entities and municipalities and so on and so forth. And you can. I'm not saying I've got proof, but let me use the word alleged. But you can see to say what is happening here. I know, my daughter. Guys, let's not waste our time. So now you know what happens in the office. So previously they would come, they would say, no. So I've got a big board there, and which would have dates for specific, contracts that we are gunning for or bids. So the guys would go complete, sit at night. And I told them, guys, no. But they would come to me and say, but hey, there's something that doesn't make sense. So now what they've done is that when they see something, they would say, is it worth pursuing? Please guide us. Yes or no?
Yeah,
there
are those.
Then I would
it's
tell them.
meant for them. That business
Yes,
is just meant
then
for
I would
them.
tell them, guys, don't waste your time. You're wasting resources here. You will sleep late. You will go home very late, knowing very well that we're not going to get this thing. Please, can you focus on something else and leave this thing? So ideally, what we are trying to do, we want to have a balance between private sector and public sector business, but also in the private sector business, the big business and white-owned business, they support their own. I mean, they've had brokers for many years. You come there.
Same ones.
And who are you?
From my dad.
Yes, from
and
my
from
dad.
my grandfather.
From my grandfather. Now, who are you? Oh, this one. No. He's been looking after us for many years. Also, I go to our fellow, black brothers, many a times I think there's also this thing of not wanting to give us an opportunity.
I wanted to actually ask you exactly the trust element, because insurance comes with trust, isn't it? I wanted to actually ask you about the trust element. Don't you think that is a contributing factor for people to actually stay with their normal brokers for years, other than moving over?
No, very true, because remember what makes even this industry challenging. We're not selling, let me put it this way. We're not selling something tangible that you can touch and feel and see as your car. You're saying, I'm giving advice. This is my services that I'm offering to you, but they are also tied to a specific product from a specific product.
I'm putting my trust on you.
I'm putting my trust with you, on you, with my assets, and all these things. And many a times you find that no, they would prefer to go with certain other brokers, because when we come to say, hey, this one, can I really trust him, But funny enough, many of these people will call you if they will ask your advice if they are in trouble, but will not necessarily give you the business. If they've got a challenge, if they are in trouble now, to say, hey, I've got a serious challenge, that's when they will trust your advice, but they will not give you the opportunity of giving you the business.
Can I be controversial?
Yeah, please, sure.
To the other there's black companies, us as black people give business to black brokers.
Yeah, that's a very good question. Some do, but you'd find some who would rather not give it to you. They would rather give to a white-owned company, a PSG.
Why?
I think it's conditioning for our people. It's conditioning of people. I'll make an example. You find that you go to, we've got a long way to go. You go to these retail shops. I had someone the other day saying, hey, coming out of their car, hey, black on black service sucks. How? I'm saying, hey, what is happening here? I would say, no. She was complaining, this lady, about the way she was being treated by the teller and so on and so forth. And I said, but what was your attitude towards her? He says, no. In fact, I was friendly. I went there and I greeted. But I found that the way they treated me on the basis of my skin color, yet I go to, when they engage with people of other races, the service is different. I think there's also that, I don't get business from my family. Number one, let me start there. But they would rather give this business to, they would trust a stranger.
Hey, you're opening a can of worms,
Except for, but I've got a few friends, whom when I started, they were my clients.
Sure.
They were my clients till today. As we grow, as their businesses grow, we are growing the portfolio. We grow the portfolio. So it's a very with white brokers, the first clients is the family. They will start here within. With us, you start outside and come within. Sometimes you don't even want to.
I said when you are popular, Baba. That's
That's when. But for now,
the company is one of those, where you are over the 100 million.
Yes, that's when.
Now you are now recognized, and you are thinking, when it comes to insurance.
Yes, that's when you get recognition. But not as you start. Forget. Who are you? No. I will come back to you. Only when they've got challenges, then you get, advice being sought.
I get
from
you.
Yeah.
So in closing, monopoly in the insurance space. I know that it's big. I always for some reason I actually need to stop gravitating towards the private security industry. Everything that I would say, because I know it very well. Off the cuff I would really talk about it, but in these industries you find, is also in the financial services sector, monopoly is so big. Because you get the few companies that you're talking about that are on the JSE that are actually listed, there are 4 or 5 or whatever number it is, and then you get that there's thousands of brokers that are there. Thousands.
Yes.
I'm not talking about, and then you get the ones that are big companies.
Yes.
We can name them.
Yes.
Sitting here. The Sanlams of this world that are there. I'm not even going to be going further.
Yes.
Right. In terms of those companies that are there. Some of them are so listed, the old mutuals of this world they are there. Some of them are actually listed in the JSE and they've been monopolizing the insurance space for quite some time. In fact, they even go as far as being able to actually create exactly the same products for us.
Yes.
And we are the masses that are supposed to be taking up those particular insurances, right?
Correct.
And the people that are shareholders and the people that are running those establishments are people that would not even understand the type of living that you are living as Usindiso in the township, what you are actually going through.
Correct.
So the monopoly in the industry, it is so rife, but I want you to actually explore more about it before we even close.
There is, some have even created groups. You find that one group owns all these companies which are competing. Teleshow, they own Budget, they own Auto in General, they own Hippo, they own First for Women, they own, there's another one which
so
is
First
now...
for Women is owned by men.
It's owned by the Teleshow group. You see? So,
First for for women, the one that they're saying they're customizing solutions for us.
Yes.
And they're also insuring our handbags, by the way.
Yes.
And the things that are inside our handbags.
Correct.
And it's a man that is actually dictating
Yes, they own budget, they own auto general. So you'll think you are being given an auto. Santam, the Sanlam group is owning Santam, is owning My Way, is owning other insurance companies out there. Then you find now there is also the big brokers who are now buying the small brokers from the market. So you'll find that they will say, hey, can you come here, chief? We'll give you this amount. You are now technically, you become their employee, because they'll promise you to say, no. You come in as a tied agent, you sell our products, you still remain a business owner, but you are actually an employee. We need to have an insurance company also that we start as black people that will cater for the needs of black people. We want to, grow from the point of being a broker to a point of being an insurance company, and we can only do that once we are united. But up until such time, maybe you can assist us in forming this organization, or grouping of black brokers.
I'm very good at that.
Yes, maybe we can contribute. We'll engage them to say, no, guys, for this work that you'll be doing, guys, this is what you'll be doing. Let's put together whatever fee that you may need. I mean, if we're able to combine together, I don't think we would not be able to pay whatever fee, because we understand organizing costs money on its own, So I think up until such time that we do that, we'll not go anywhere. We'll still play at the low level, We'll still play at the low level. So we need to move to a higher level where we actually now have a black. There is none. There is none.
Parting shot, Dr. Mbongeni, with regards to the future of the industry that you're in, what would you like to see happen? What transformation imperatives are you hoping for, and what are you hoping that your message would be able to convey to somebody that is actually watching?
No, thank you very much. I think as a parting shot is that, number one, for us to drive the changes and transformation that we require or that we seek in this industry, we need to come together. We need to work as a collective to be able to drive that change which we want. Because if we are united, it then becomes easy for us to be able to do that. All these barriers, all these challenges that we are talking about, it would be easier for us to be able to confront those challenges which we are currently faced with. So I'm encouraging those who may be watching, who are in this industry, let's come together, let's be one, and also engage and be able to work as a unity when it comes to this industry. Thank you very much.
You've heard it from a principal broker, you've heard it from a director of one of the most successful brokers in the country, alluding to the fact that, there's a time where people have to really come together that are like-minded, in terms of being able to really make sure that this industry grows, but not only for that, but just to actually empower each other. And I've always been an advocate for us being able to empower each other as a people, regardless of color, race or creed. I've always had this sheer determination of being able to actually bring issues such as these to the fore, because I really think they're important. And they're important because we need to evolve as a society. We need to evolve in our way of thinking. But insurance, as much as it is a grudge purchase for some of us, and I'm going to say it again, being into also that industry as well. I wanted to actually, thank Dr. Mbongeni for his insight with regards to that. And I'm hoping that at some point you will come back. And when you come back, you tell us that Lebone has been able to actually reach the 300 million or the 500 million mark revenue per annum. We wish you well.
Thank you very
This
much.
industry is not easy. This industry is not for the faint-hearted. This industry takes a lot on you. This industry demands a lot of money for you to be able to service it. This industry demands you for you to be able to have the sheer determination of being able to be the best in the country. But most of all, I think we need to start now as a society to believe in each other. Ubuntu, people. In this country, I will never even not overemphasize Ubuntu, coming together, empowering each other, supporting each other. And this forum is actually meant to actually do that, so that we actually raise these issues and we deal with these issues and we manage these issues as people. South Africa has got a lot more to offer. We've got a lot more to offer as a people, and there's hope. The Forum for Marginalized Industries is here to bring awareness. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, Tatu Mbongeni.
Thank you very much.
We hope to wish that we can be able to actually see you again. All the best.
Happy.
Thank you for joining us.
Forum for the marginalized.